I'm Debbi Dachinger. Welcome to Dare to Dream. Be inspired to live big and bold and take action to turn your dreams into your reality. Go beyond obstacles and limits of your thinking. Accelerate results to catapult yourself to success. I'm a visibility expert who gives media makeovers to clients, booking them on media interviews and turning their books into international bestsellers with guaranteed results. Join me at DebbiDachinger.com. Dare to do great things. Dare to shine. It's all about you becoming a visionary and leading the pack. Welcome to your daring new life.
Welcome to Dare to Dream. This is Debbi Dachinger. I'm very, very excited that you're here, and I just want to give a little bit of a shout out. I spoke at somebody's book event, and I was asked to speak about visibility in media, which is what I do as a strategist and an expert. And it was so well received. I filled the class with people from that event. And what was really nice and why I love what I do is the next week, I came back from yet another workshop, and in the mail was a little package from someone named Pam, who said, I was so taken with what you shared in your story and all the information you gave us, I made this for you. And she made a bracelet that is silver, and it's like a donut shape with black leather straps, and she punched into the silver, Dare to Dream. How cool is that? And because I have really very tiny wrists and actually neck and ankles and stuff, I thought, I don't know that I really want this to be a bracelet, but I'd love it to be a necklace, and it looks amazing. So for people like that, moments like that where people do the unexpected and do something really, it's very kind and loving and much appreciated. I just want you to know it makes what I do worthwhile. And I love how the universe really shows up to say, atta girl, doing the right thing, doing the right place, and here's this encouragement, and it's so awesome you get to meet these incredible people with incredible talent. So to Pam out there, thank you very much. I love it. I love my Dare to Dream necklace. Well, a little bit later, Kim O'Neill is here. She's a former crime analyst who now provides interview empowerment and confidence coaching for heart-centered professionals and youth. Kim is going to be on a little later on Dare to Dream Radio and podcast. And I'm wondering how much you trust nature's course. I love when I say certain words, and I can feel their potency in my space because I really do there. Even just the word trust is pretty big. For me, that connotes letting go, surrender, knowing that all is well, being in flow. And I am going to recommend for all of us that we learn how to trust in the infinite intelligence of nature so we can manifest our desires in the way that serves our highest needs. It's really good to let go of the need to control and to release the us versus them philosophy in fulfilling our desires. I interpret that the easiest way to overcome mental boundaries is by expanding our awareness, by experiencing the quieter, more universal levels of our mind. And this is where our desires and the desires of others find common ground. So we ultimately can choose. We can choose today to place our desires under the guidance of our cosmic self, the place where the universe and all individual selves meet. And we can trust in this level of life to handle all the details of manifesting our desires because we are really trusting our deepest self. It's the same intelligence that governs and orchestrates all the diversity in creation. So remember these truths. I offer them. I know you've heard them before, but so good to hear and be reminded, remembered. Remember these truths when you desire something. Everything always works out for you. The universe is conspiring on your behalf. Everything is handled in God's time, and it is handled. All is well right now. It really is. Ask for this or something even better. You have everything you really need right now. And the thought you can carry around today is, everyone's spiritual path is perfect. Stephen Richards, a quote from Stephen Richards is, a thought is a cosmic order waiting to happen. So we're going to take a quick break, and next up is Kim o-neill, who offers personal empowerment for those who don't know their value. Kim helps you to rediscover and reclaim who you really are, truly are, and she'll talk about how it's okay to be more of who you've always been. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
What books are you reading? Are you ready for a must-read? Winner of the Inspirational Book of the Year Award and international bestsellers, Dare to Dream, This Life Counts by Debbi Dachinger, as well as the acclaimed Wisdom to Success, The Surefire Secrets to Accomplish All Your Dreams. Buy the books from Amazon today. U.S. Book Review and Writer's Digest said these are critics' picks. By Debbi Dachinger, Dare to Dream and Wisdom to Success contain gems to live your life by.
Welcome back to Dare to Dream. This is Debbi Dachinger, and I've got Kim o-neill here. She's an ICF and Law of Attraction certified coach who has a passion for helping people move forward. Kim is a former crime analyst who now provides personal empowerment and interview confidence coaching for heart-centered professionals and youth. She's also the host of the Every Day is a New Day podcast. Kim is the co-author of the bestseller Positive-Minded People, Inspiring Stories of Overcoming Adversity for Living a More Positive Life. As an inspirational speaker, Kim aims to remind audiences the importance of knowing who they are and the value of their emotions. Kim's philanthropic work includes youth mentoring and interview workshops. You can find out more at her name, KimO'NeillCoaching.com. Kim, welcome to Dare to Dream. It's so great to have you.
Thank you, Debbi. I am so excited to be here on Dare to Dream today. Thank you for having me.
I want to start with the work you do out in the world today so people can start to understand what you provide, who you attract, who you work with. So talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So it can be considered two different types of coaching work that I do. I do personal empowerment coaching. I also do interview confidence coaching, which really helps people prepare for employment interviews. And I've also started to branch into helping people prepare for podcast interviews. But what I have found, the reason why I do both of those is because when I started about 5 years ago in 2013 with interview coaching, I realized that the root of the work most people need to do is understanding who they fully are and embracing that and owning that. And so out of that was birthed the more personal empowerment coaching that I that may solely focus on with some clients. So I love what I do.
Yeah. And also, I think it's interesting you do that portion, and then you also do energy work and meditation.
I do. Yes. Yeah. It's interesting too, because that's a side of me. Some people, when they only hear that, they think, oh, well, then Kim's a very woo-woo person and she's all about that. And I fully embrace that part of me, but I'm more than just that. And I think that that's one of the things that I am able to support others in knowing about themselves. None of us are just one label or just fall into one category of who we are and what we do. So
Amen, sister.
Right? Thank you.
We're very complicated people, I think. Very complex.
Yes, I agree. So yeah, I have a free guided meditation for people currently on the Insight Timer app. It's called Get Grounded and Regain Inner Peace. And so anybody who's looking for that, it's a wonderful meditation. I definitely encourage you to go check that out. And I also do Reiki sessions with people. You can do them distance or over the phone. And it's like, if you've never had a Reiki session, it's like getting a massage, except no one's actually touching you. And it's a really nice experience.
Oh, that's awesome. I want to just reflect that about a year and a half ago, I had a neighbor who knew sort of the moniker of what I do, right? But she actually misinterpreted it when she knew I helped people with being interviewed. I help people with media interviews. And she said, oh my God, I have this huge job opportunity in New York, and here I am in California, and I actually really want it. Can you coach me? And yeah, I was like, no, but I can introduce you to Kim o-neill. I was like, thank God I know somebody, because it's always nice to have a referral in your pocket. So I connected you two. I know you work together, and I don't know if you know this, but she actually got the job. Yes. It was a big, right? She got the job after working with you, and I thought that's really big time. She loved you. I know the process was amazing. And then, of course, the result was fantastic. So since that's your jam, right? You know how someone needs to be interviewed for a job with confidence and to potentially really book it. Are there any secret tips that we don't know around that you can shed some light around?
Oh goodness, there are so many tips. It's interesting because one of the first questions I tend to get for someone who's never heard of an interview coach is they say, what do you mean prepare? They don't understand that you actually can prepare for an interview. And the biggest tip I have is taking time to look at all your experiences. You know what? I got to rephrase that. That's not the biggest tip I have, but that's one of your first things that you want to do is look at all your experiences. What did you learn? How did you grow over the years that you've been doing different things? You know, what have you accomplished? You want to look at all that stuff and have that at the forefront of your mind. And then the next thing is you really want to own what your strengths are. It's so interesting. This tends to be where a lot of the work that I do with clients is. They are hesitant to claim, yes, I'm really good at, I'm really good at whatever it may be. So maybe it's working on computers, or I'm really good at interacting with other people. I'm really good with numbers. Whatever it may be, people hesitate in that. And so I make sure when I work with my clients, it's always absolutely a safe space, but we're gonna, identify what are your strengths and really own that, because before anybody else can know who you are, you have to know who you are first. And with interviews, you've got a limited amount of time to be able to really showcase yourself. And that's one of the starting places is knowing who you are and owning your strengths.
That's interesting, because they always like to ask that stuff, don't they? Like,
yes.
What are you really great at, and what will you bring to a company? And then I always hated this question, like, what are the things basically we need to watch out for? I was stumped, just like, I'm not going to tell you. I don't know if that's going to work against me. That made me very anxious when they would ask that question.
Well, and you're not alone. I love that you brought that up because that is common. And at the same time, people may not ask you that, but the reason, and so let me just rephrase, another way to ask an interviewee that is, what's one of your weaknesses? Tell us about your weakness. It's not to point the finger and say, oh, there we go. Okay, we don't want to hire her because she's not good at something, or she made a mistake somewhere in life. We all make mistakes. And so what they're really looking for is they want to see, how do you respond to that question? Do you own up to whatever your weakness is? You don't need to tell them your deepest, darkest secret of, I'm horrible at proofreading, or you don't need to tell them that, but find something that may be an area that you would like to grow in your skill. And you can frame it in that way. Say, I think Excel is really interesting, and I continue to practice it and grow my skills in that area. So for that reason, Excel is one of my weaknesses. That's one way to respond to that question without feeling like, you're making yourself look like the worst possible candidate ever.
Oh, that's a super good example. I like that. Yeah. And especially when you talk about something technical you can grow into.
Yes.
I think it really takes the onus off of you and any flaws they might perceive, but just rather, oh, great, we can really support you in this space and help you grow there, and you'll be even more proficient for us.
Exactly. Showcasing where you have room to grow also tells them that you are someone who's open to moving forward, to growing, to learning more. And employers want to see that. They want to know that you're not, stuck in your little box and not going to ever take on anything new that they might hand you. They want to know that you are flexible and are aware of where your shortcomings might be, knowing that where you are today is not where you're going to be tomorrow. It's totally okay to acknowledge that.
Thank you. That's really a succulent piece, to tell you the truth. I think that alone could help a lot of people. I think it's very cool that in researching you have this theory about families, and I actually think it's very true. So your theory is that every family has either, however you want to call it, one square peg or a black sheep in it. And that person, let's just call him the black sheep of the family is thought of as having to be fixed. So I almost said because they act out, but I'll leave that to you. I'm curious about what kind of awareness you can share about that person. We may have people listening who say, I am that peg, the one that doesn't fit in, the black sheep. So talk to us about that.
Absolutely. I love that you actually brought that up, Debbie. So thank you for opening up that door for me to talk about this. So I do think that every family has at least one person that feels like the oddball. They feel like they're a square peg, a black sheep, whatever label they want to put to it. And they may feel very alienated, unsupported in their family. And it could even lead to them thinking that something's wrong with them. I believe the opposite. And I think this takes a while to come to this, but I think it's actually the opposite. I think the gift that person is in their family is they actually have the potential to be a positive catalyst for others to start to know and accept who they truly are. So what does that require? It requires the person who feels like they're that oddball, they're that square peg, that it requires them to know who they are and own it and to be it, even more than maybe they already have. So whatever areas have been scary for them to branch out into, then that's where the next level of work is to be done. And to ultimately find that it is safe to be who you are and that the world is craving it. I really deeply believe that.
Who are those people? Who are the black sheeps? What is their purpose?
Yeah, so the black sheep might look like a football player who's too afraid to tell people that he's gay. Or it might look like an engineer who's too afraid to tell people that she also talks to angels and is psychic. It might look like, I have my own personal experience with this too. When I was a crime analyst, it became this time in my life where I ended up really learning that, wow, I am so much more than just who I have been up to that point. And I was afraid to tell people that I do meditation and I do Reiki on people. I do personal coaching, all these soft kind of skills that I was doing outside of my day job that seemed very type A, headstrong. That was me too. I was both. And it really takes a lot of inner work to find peace with who you are, because you are not those things for a reason to fix them. You are those things to be them.
Ooh, wait. You are not those things to fix them. You are those things to be them. What does that mean? That feels so deep.
Yeah, it was actually the first time I came up with that. So.
Oh, coin that, baby. That's a tweetable by Kim O-Neill.
You know what that means is to stop resisting it, to stop hiding it, to stop thinking that you're supposed to not show those things because everyone else around you doesn't already accept maybe the little tidbits that you've leaked out over the years. If you're allowing the response that you've gotten from other people to dictate how much you show of yourself, that's not going to serve you. What's going to serve you is actually finding a way to be more of who you are and know that that's okay, that that's needed, that you are that for a reason, and then other people will get on board. And maybe not everyone will, but that's okay. So one of the things I really encourage people to do is if you're really struggling with this, and I totally get it, if you're really struggling with this, connect with other people who can be a positive support system for you so that you can start to experience the ease in knowing, oh my gosh, like there are other people like you out there, other people who appreciate you and love you and want more of you. And you can start to find some ease in that space. And then as you're ready, allow yourself to shine and be more of who you are around others who you may not know if they're going to accept you or not. But here's the thing. As soon as you accept who you are, it no longer even matters if others do or not.
Well, we're going to take a break right here. That just feels like one of those to breathe into and consider. It's wonderful. Whether that means that's you or someone intimately in your family that is, or maybe in your friendships. I think sometimes even in friendship tribes, there's that one person is like, what? They come out a little odd. And so it's interesting to start to consider the black sheep and their purpose, that they actually have purpose in the dynamics. When we come back, we'll be talking with Kim a little bit about her personal trajectory because it's clearly fascinating coming from being a crime analyst, and then a little bit more about judgment and rediscovering who we are. You're listening to Dare to Dream Radio and podcast. If you would like your free report on publicity, how to become the go-to expert and be interviewed on media, go to DebbiDachinger.com, pick up your free report. It's DACHINGER.com, publicity, how to become the go-to expert and be interviewed on media. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
What if the world doesn't function the way we've been told? What if we truly can bend the laws of physical reality? What if we can end limitation? What if weird were the coolest thing you could be? And what if it's time for a totally different reality? Are you ready to create it? Are you ready to dream as big as you dare? Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything in my life changed for me. This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Newton, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Gandhi, Galileo, and Aristotle all knew to be true. It's not about the answer. It's about being the question. Always. It's about truly being you, whatever that looks like, and changing this world. Is now the time? Start by signing up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. That's beingyouclass.com. What if you are the gift and the change this world requires? beingyouclass.com.
Hi, it's Debbi Dachinger from the award-winning Dare to Dream podcast, heard live every Wednesday at noon Pacific Time. You're invited to receive a visibility strategy session to move your business forward. The session is going to help you get clear on what's holding you back, uncover how to better reach your clients. Send your interest application to this email, daretodreamradio@gmail.com. If you feel like Moses, wandering around the entrepreneurial desert, imagine how helpful it will be to have a 45-minute call with a visibility media expert. Ready to get clear? Ready to get direction for books, web presence, bestsellers, media, and interviews? Book your visibility strategy session today. Email daretodreamradio@gmail.com and put the words visibility strategy session in the subject.
What books are you reading? Are you ready for a must-read? Winner of the Inspirational Book of the Year Award and international bestsellers, Dare to Dream, This Life Counts by Debbi Dachinger, as well as the acclaimed Wisdom to Success, The Surefire Secrets to Accomplish All Your Dreams. Buy the books from Amazon today. U.S. Book Review and Writer's Digest said these are critics' picks. By Debbi Dachinger, Dare to Dream and Wisdom to Success contain gems to live your life by.
What is forgiveness like in your life? Is there someone right now that you need to forgive? Project Forgive is changing all that, teaching you how to skillfully forgive and finally get that freedom. Go to www.projectforgive.com. It's time you freed yourself and freed your dream. You're listening to Dare to Dream.
If you're tuning in after we've started, this is Debbi Dachinger on Dare to Dream podcast. I'm interviewing Kim O-Neill, and you can find out more about her at kimoneillcoaching.com. Yeah, your trajectory is very interesting. I think it's fascinating. You were using the dualities before, somebody who works in this corporate world but actually talks to angels. And in your case, something akin to that. You are a crime analyst, and now here you are a coach. You do energy work. You do meditation. So it's a beautiful blend, but I'm really curious how you navigated that shift. Like, what gave you the guts, Kim, to change careers and do today what you dreamed of doing?
Oh my goodness, Debbie. It has been such a journey, and one that I never quite anticipated. So it really it felt like a huge curveball when I realized, yay, I'm moving towards the work that I really want to do, coaching, and oh gosh, I love all this metaphysical stuff that I'm delving into and really embracing and growing more into. And then when I realized that, oh my goodness, the people in my life at that moment didn't actually support those things. They didn't accept all these areas that I was branching out into. And I didn't expect that. I just thought people would be happy for me. And that was that. And I found, though, that it's a very common experience that when people start, moving into those directions where they feel called, feel driven to be more of who they are, that, yeah, you might ruffle some feathers. Other people might not quite be so comfortable with that. And that could be because they haven't quite done that for themselves yet. And that's okay. But so, how do you work through that? I think it's going to be a unique journey for every person. But I know for me in particular, the first thing is I thought it was going to be okay to split myself in two, basically. So for a long time, I had split energy. I was a crime analyst during the day, and at night and on the weekends, that's when I felt like I could finally let my walls down and do more of the work that I love, coaching and reading about metaphysics and, and law of attraction and coaching and all those things. And over time, I realized, oh my goodness, this was so challenging for me because as I was doing those things that I loved, I was basically opening myself up to more and more. But when I would go back to my day job, I had not integrated myself fully. And so I was once again closing myself off. And it took a long time for me to finally realize, oh, I can be both. And learning how to do that was challenging. But I think that's ultimately what I want people to know is you can be both. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go shouting to the hills, hey, here's the part about me I've been so afraid to tell you. You don't need to do that. But again, when you're doing that inner work and you start to become more okay with those parts of yourself first, then it becomes easier to just energetically be a more complete person wherever you go.
And can I ask you, Crime Analyst, it sounds kind of spooky, like a TV show. Did you see anything terrible?
No. So I love that question. Thank you for asking, Debbie. So crime analysts are the people who are in the office, reading crime reports left and right, doing tons of research and doing, I would say, in the office investigative work. And we worked with both the patrol officers as well as the detectives. And occasionally I would go out to community meetings and sometimes be the little silent person in the background. No one knew that I was also a department employee. Or sometimes the community would have questions that I truly was the best person to answer those questions because I was seeing all the crime reports that were coming in. And So just to paint the picture, it's not quite the person that's going out in the fields, dusting off bones or something like that. But, it was very interesting. When you really have time to sink your teeth into a case, that is really fun and exciting. But every case is like, you could just go down a rabbit hole and just research and research and research. So it's also a little draining at times.
Wow. That's a huge leap, but I also think it's a very cool thing to have on your resume. I mean, it's just a great conversation starter without a doubt. And I want to segue this into the idea of rediscovering, reclaiming, because you've been talking in the first segment about who we really are, that it's okay to be more of who we have been. And I think that's a really great statement. But I actually want to dig a little deeper. And I guess the first thing I want to ask you is, have you had a personal journey around this?
Yeah, and actually it stemmed from that experience of being a crime analyst and also doing all this other stuff on the side and having that split energy. There was a part of me that I felt like, well, yeah, this is natural. This is normal. I've been moving in this direction my whole life of being able to support and serve people through one-on-one and group coaching. And when I started to realize that other people in my life didn't know that about me, I really started to go, wait a second, like what's going on? All of a sudden it was sort of like being in a fog or in a dreamlike state. And I'm thinking, how do other people not know this about me? And has there been some part of myself that forgot who I was all along? Why was I feeling this separateness and like no one knows who I am at the core of who I am? And so it really just took me into this space of, again, owning who I am more and more and more. And knowing that it's okay, right? No one else gets to place their judgments on who I choose to be or who I know myself to be. And it was a journey. It was a process of seeing where I had judgments about myself and where I wasn't fully looking at certain areas. So that's kind of how I can summarize it, because it really took quite a bit of time to go through that.
And what about judgment? What about, like, is judgment up? Is it up more than ever before? Are people managing it better and accepting more the differences and the diversity that exists around, I guess, us, our families, communities, and planet?
Yeah, that's a great question. I definitely think judgment is up these days. And if someone were to calculate it and it wasn't up, well, it certainly looks like it's up. So that's enough. I think there are a few things that go into that, is that we are often creatures of habit and it's not always comfortable to change. And at the same time, we are all connected. And on some level, we experience the contrast that is taking place around the world today. We're all feeling it in some way. And for some, it's helping them to break further out of their shell, giving them that courage and strength to shine their light and be more of who they've always been. And for others that may be resisting it, I think that's what we're seeing, the people who are lashing out with the judgments of other people, not understanding that any time we judge another person, it's always an indication that we are holding judgments about ourselves.
So where do people go with that? So there's that recognition, oh, okay, actually, and of course, you're talking about shadow work.
Yeah.
So how can people process that? It actually exists in them. It's in 12-step programs, they say 1 finger pointing at you, 3 fingers pointing back at me.
Right.
Right? Just another way to say that. So how can we unearth it, heal it, so we don't have to be that anymore?
I think it's a great time when you find yourself in that space and you realize this is what you're experiencing. It's a great time to get support, to help you unearth it. You don't have to do this alone. At the same time, you can do it alone, but you don't have to. So let's say someone is doing it on their own. You know what? Start to meditate. Start to get quiet with yourself and allow those thoughts and those judgments to rise to the surface. And as they do, know that it's okay. We have all had them. So it's not about beating yourself up for having them. That's where you want to start to forgive yourself for having them. And if you know that stuff is coming up that stems from other people and situations in your life, then you may see that it's also time to forgive those people in those situations, knowing that their forgiveness is ultimately for you. It's never validating or saying that someone else's hurtful behavior towards you was okay, but it's all about you releasing yourself from the attachment of that energy. And again, the more that you start to forgive, release, allow, it becomes so much easier to accept. And as I mean accept, then it's about being in that flow, knowing that every person is living their own life journey, you know, and whether they choose to or not, their work is their work. And so that's why we don't want to spend our whole life focused on other people, you know, and well, they did this and they need to fix that about themselves and blah, blah, blah. That's why I just bring it right back home. It's about you in your life. So the more that you do your work, it becomes easier to have these other people around you that may be doing things that you don't quite agree with or accept. But the beauty in that, I know it's a long answer, Debbie, the beauty in that though is the more that you become grounded and accepting of yourself, it really does have this ripple effect that can support those other people who may be in a state of resistance to find some ease into starting to do that for themselves. And it's a beautiful, it's one of the beauties, it's one of the beautiful ways how we're all connected and can actually be a positive impact for each other.
That's cool. And of course they could always book a Reiki session with you too.
Good, absolutely.
That'll move them ahead. That's really nice. I like this reflection. I like that it's coming back to the words rediscover, reclaim. It's also responsible, right?
Yes.
The ability to respond and actually look inside and find where the inception is. We're going to head to a break, and when we come back, we'll find out a little bit more about square pegs in our final segment. You can subscribe to Dare to Dream, and I highly recommend you do. Dare to Dream with Debbi Dachinger. I'm on iTunes, Spreaker, BBS, Stitcher, my website, YouTube, TuneIn. I'm in so many places. You pick the place. Leave a 5-star review. It really counts because the right people will find this show for the right #1 transformation conversation. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
Have a dream but not clear how to manifest it? Feel like the rest of the world was given the secret to achieving their dreams except for you? This acclaimed book, Wisdom to Success, The Surefire Secrets to Accomplish All Your Dreams, was written for you. Author Debbi Dachinger received the Inspiration Book of the Year Award and Critics Pick from U.S. Book Review and Writer's Digest for Wisdom to Success. It's a life-changing read, available at Amazon.
When you're pondering the big questions like, is there more than this? How can I have a happy relationship? What would it take to like my body? And how do I make more money? Where do you go for information and tools? Check out the online store at accessconsciousness.com. Accessconsciousness.com has books, DVDs, instant video and audio downloads, online classes, and so much more. Subjects include abuse, changing your body, recovery, raising children, business techniques, tools to generate more money, how to have better sex and healthier relationships, just to name a few. At accessconsciousness.com, you can also find facilitators who teach local classes on a variety of subjects. Accessconsciousness.com, your one-stop shop for tools to assist you in changing your life. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. Go to accessconsciousness.com to learn more.
Hi, it's Debbi Dachinger from the award-winning Dare to Dream podcast, heard live every Wednesday at noon Pacific Time. Did you know? I'm inviting you to a visibility strategy session with me regarding your media visibility. We'll talk about books, web presence, media, interviews, bestsellers, and what changes to implement to become effectively visible. Send your interest application to daretodreamradio@gmail.com. The 45-minute call is a visibility roadmap so you can get seen and heard. If you feel like Moses wandering around the entrepreneurial desert, imagine how helpful it will be to have a direct line to a visibility media expert. So spread your message, expand your reach, and grow your business. Apply for a visibility strategy session today. Put the words visibility strategy session in the subject. Email daretodreamradio@gmail.com.
If you're tuning in after we've started, this is Debbi Dachinger on Dare to Dream podcast. I'm interviewing Kim O-Neill. She is at KimO'NeillCoaching.com. I think what I want to know, because of the work you do and the space from which you share, Kim, is what ritual? Do you have a ritual or a practice that you use every day that keeps you grounded?
That's a great question. I do, Debbie. So every day I do at least, bare minimum, 5 to 10 minutes of meditation and ground my energy. So taking the time to do that really helps me to feel supported and centered throughout my day. I love it.
And since this is Dare to Dream, what do you next dare to dream? What are your future dreams and goals?
Oh, goodness. One of the things I love about what I do, so in addition to the coaching, is hosting my show. Every day is a new day. And I would absolutely love to take that show or possibly build a new one and be able to reach an even larger audience. So I dream of hosting a show on national television and really being able to have this ripple effect of supporting people in being more of who they are and finding ease and confidence and so much joy in that. That's my dream.
And so people who want to connect with you, maybe there's a producer who's like, that's my girl, or someone who wants Reiki, or someone who wants interview coaching or your meditation. Where can they connect with you?
So 2 things. They can go to my website, KimO'neillCoaching.com, and they can learn more about me. They can book a free consultation. They can also email me, KimO'Neill@Outlook.com, and O'Neill is ONEILL.
Wonderful. So square pegs, I'm going to harken back to that a little bit. People who are listening who say, that's kind of me, square peg. How can they learn to accept themselves? How can they learn to strengthen their support system? Because you've been referring to them really stepping into as opposed to away from who they truly be. So to do that and get the strength to do that and the acceptance to do that, what are your recommendations?
I think a lot of it comes down to what is the self-talk that's going on internally. So for that person to make sure that they deliberately practice positive self-talk. Again, before anyone else can be there for you, you have to show up for yourself first, and you want to be your number one cheerleader. So positive self-talk, you can take it a step further and do mirror work, which can be a little challenging at first, so it might be something to work up to. And for anyone who's just hearing about that, that's basically standing in front of a mirror and telling yourself those positive things. I would also say put yourself in the role of a child who may be struggling to accept who they are. Think of a child that you love. Would you be okay with them not accepting themselves? So treat yourself that same way that you would encourage that child to treat themselves. You are just...
I'm going to interrupt you and ask you, will you do an example? So give us an example of what that might look like to look in the mirror and talk to oneself and recognize you as the child who might need that love and that strength and acceptance. What would that sound like or look like?
That would look like acknowledging, so it would look like, Kim, you're doing a good job. We know it's been hard. It's been a long road, but you know that there's still more work to do in the world. You know that you have a passion for self-expression, and that although you may not know how you're going to get there, you're going to keep remaining open and you're going to keep going further, and you're doing a great job. And I love how you stay open, and I love how you are so supportive of other people. Wow. And when people tell you how much you've made a difference, that's because you said yes. So Kim, keep going. You are amazing, and I love you, and thank you for being you. That's an example.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I could use to hear that too every day. That's really nice. That's really nice, and it doesn't take much, does it? It's just a choice. Like you're passing a mirror and you can say, whoop, let me give myself a couple of minutes of love.
Exactly. And here I am for the interview wanting to make sure I can communicate it in the best way possible for someone who's wondering what that looks like. But you don't need to place judgment on it when you're doing it by yourself in your own home. You just say what comes up and treat yourself with care. You deserve that love.
You definitely deserve that love. So I want to give you some love here.
Aww.
Because your blog won the top 100 life coach blogs from feedspot.com. That's pretty cool. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. That came out of the blue when I received it. And I even just had someone recently emailed me and say she loves my blogs and she wishes I did them even more frequently. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, well that's my cue. Got to get back on that.
Cool. So what are your blogs about? What do you write about?
I write about what comes up in the moment. So tends to be a lot of stuff about releasing judgment, about getting clear in your emotions and releasing emotional clutter, understanding the value of who you are, integrating, your head and your heart, or at least allowing the two to coexist, and kind of just a variety of things that have shown up for me.
Well, congratulations. I think it's a really nice win. It's a nice coup. And for those who would really like this guided meditation you talked about, you mentioned it's on an app. Will you talk about where they can go and just remind us where we can get your guided meditation?
Absolutely. So they can go to the Insight Timer app and just search for Kim o-neill, again, o-neill, O-N-E-I-L-L, and it's the meditation titled Get Grounded and Regain Inner Peace. It's a 12-minute meditation with some really nice music, and I walk you through that process of grounding and embracing who you are, and I've received a lot of positive feedback about it, so I think your listeners will like it.
And because I'm so curious, because you did work with my neighbor, of course I've moved, so she is no longer my neighbor, but I just remember so distinctly that situation. I know she got such amazing results with you. What does it look like when somebody is about to go out into the interview market, the job market, or has a very particular interview that's meaningful to them, and they give you a call and say, Kim, I need help. This is coming up and I don't want to go out there because it's tough today. I think there's a lot of competition and there's a lot you need to know about online and what you print and how you show up and how you dress and how you respond. And maybe it's not just one interview. Maybe they keep escalating because you're doing well and you're meeting the next higher ups to get a pass to the next level. So someone gives you a call and says, I definitely need help. What's possible? How do you work with people?
That is a great question. I first want to say, yes, there is a lot of competition, and your first step is to make sure you don't focus on that because that's going to trip you up. So the first step is going to take a practical look at, okay, well, what are you applying for and what is your experience to date? And then I ask them, okay, do you actually want this job? Because it's not enough to just say, well, here I'm going to help you get that job. You have to actually want it because that's going to fuel the way that you present yourself in the interview. So we take a look at those practical things and then we start to go the journey and say, okay, well, where's the connection between what they're looking for, what you have to offer? And I help my clients make those connections. And again, part of that is the stuff that a lot of people don't even look at. They may not even realize how much they have to offer their next employer. So I really help to tease those bits and pieces out, help them see that, help them own that, and then we even do some mock interviews. Because the next step, it's not just about talking about it. You want to actually practice it. You want to speak how you would answer questions out loud. It's part of getting that muscle memory going, and it applies to your voice and the way your mouth forms words. So, and one last thing I just want to make a point on is that as you practice interview questions, it's never about memorizing word for word how you might answer a question. It's about getting familiar with how might you answer it and what words are really going to support you in communicating that. And when you allow yourself that flexibility, then you're able to answer any question with ease because you've already prepared.
And make sure to use the word catalyst while you're being interviewed. That's my new favorite word. Every time I hear it, it's like, ooh, that's powerful. You're a catalyst? Awesome. You definitely bring on the change. You're definitely willing to have vision. So definitely use that word. But that's my coaching tip, and it has nothing to do with HR. I just like the word catalyst. See how it works for you. I have a really funny question for you, Kim, because I want to tie everything we've been talking about together. So someone's going for a job interview, very important to this person, and they're a square peg, and they're a black sheep. Is there a different way that you recommend those sort of rebel people, different people handle an interview?
No, not necessarily. However, I would say use that. So what is unique about you? That's a gift. Whatever your uniqueness is, whatever that thing is that may make you define yourself as a square peg, it also helps you define yourself, like you said, like a rebel, like someone who's, brave and willing to take on some healthy risks. And hey, be that front runner to, help the company grow and be an even bigger star within the industry. So how can you use that part about you to really help them and support them and grow in ways that maybe they've been looking to grow but haven't been able to yet?
And anything here you'd like to share? Anything that you want to tell the listeners at the end here?
I just, it comes down to a really simple statement for me, Debbie. I really believe that every single person is amazing. And you could also say one of my dreams is that every single person alive realizes that and owns that. One of the biggest gifts you can be to yourself is to know and embrace who you are. So that's what I want to leave people with.
Thank you. This has been really amazing conversation. I'm so glad you came on the show, and thanks for sharing your brilliance on Dare to Dream, Kim.
Thank you, Debbie. I so appreciate it.
I end today's show with this quote. Never tell me the sky's the limit when there are footprints on the moon. Next week on Dare to Dream podcast, I'm featuring Sean Stone. He's the son of the filmmaker Oliver Stone. Sean is an American actor, film director, producer, cinematographer, and screenwriter. And Sean hosts the television show Watching the Hawks. He has a lot of very provocative movies about to be released. And by the way, get ready for some very provocative conversation. I'm just going to keep it a really yummy secret, but wow, this guy has a lot to share. You're going to want to tune into next week's interview with Sean Stone. Subscribe to my inspirational YouTube videos at youtube.com/DebOnTheRadio. And go to DebbiDachinger.com, that's DACHINGER.com, for your free publicity report, how to become the go-to expert and be interviewed on media. Remember to leave a 5-star review so the links and the suggestion will make it to your friends and those who need this transformational conversation. The secret of success is actually having the courage to begin in the first place. Thanks for joining me today on Dare to Dream.
To contact the award-winning syndicated Dare to Dream radio show, go to DebbiDachinger.com. Keep your excellent feedback and comments coming. Your host, Debbi Dachinger, is an expert at goal achievement, a media personality, an international best-selling author, and a keynote speaker. Debbie leads high-quality teleseminars on how to achieve goals, how to be a self-published best-selling author, and how to get booked on radio. All classes are at DebbiDachinger.com. Debbie's best-selling books are Dare to Dream, This Life Counts, sold on Amazon, and her second book, Wisdom to Success, The Secrets to Accomplish All Your Dreams, sold online at all bookstores. Tune in again to hear the next inspiring interview guest who has turned their vision into a successful reality. Want more support in making your dreams come true? Go to DebbiDachinger.com. That's www.DebbiDachinger.com. You'll see videos, MP3s, archived interviews, and amazing products sharing the secret steps to making your dreams come true. Remember to dream big with every expectation that your dream will become real. Dreams are free, so free your dreams. What do you dare to dream?
Here I'm standing now, waiting for my time to be all that I can be. It's so easy to forget, life is in my hands, and I can change it if I want. Nothing's impossible, no. If you only dare, if you dare to dream, if you just believe, you can make anything come true. You dare to dream, trust in what you feel, and create something real, changing your destiny. But nothing's impossible if you dare to dream. Everything must start with two empty hands. That's just the way it's got to be. Things are gonna grow before you even know. It's like flying without